Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Unrealist today. If you wanted to learn about luxury home building, the luxury home builder market, today is your day. I've got a great guest. But first, our unreal stat of the day. And that's the fact that for the first time in 9 months, as of January 2023, the home builder sentiment has finally ticked up after being down for the last 9 months. It went from 31 to 35. Typically, I think 50 is the number where people start to feel really good about it. But regardless, finally, after 9 months of negativity, we've got it a tick up. I'd like to welcome to our show today, Marc Rousso. He is a top luxury builder out of Seattle, Washington. And he's also a dope DJ. So we'll talk about that as well. Marc, welcome to the show.
Oh, happy to be here, Kyle.
Thank you for being on. Okay, so let's talk about that stat for a moment. Obviously, with Jerome Powell, our big homie Jay Powell, increasing interest rates, which then impact mortgage rates, which have been spiking. That has been driving traffic down, both on the buy side and the sell side. And this impacts home builders who've had a negative sentiment. Finally, that sentiment has started to pop up. What has been your feeling on that on the ground as somebody who's actually out here doing it?
It's been, we've actually been experiencing a high number of people coming to our houses and our open houses, November and December. Like, people have been out and about. They just haven't pulled the plug. And all of fourth quarter was just really quiet, for us. And our market is, our average price is, from $3 to $5 million. And so, we're located on the east side of Seattle, in Bellevue, Mercer Island, Kirkland area. And so we saw a ton of traffic, but no one was really pulling the trigger. The first 3 weeks of the year, and we sell about 20 houses a year. The first 3 weeks of the year, we sold 5 houses. Wow. And people were just ready. People saw that there wasn't the fluctuation of the interest rates. They wasn't keep on going up and up and up. And they finally just are like, okay, there was a calming aspect of it. And so now you're seeing the builder sentiment saying, okay, I finally see an end, or hopefully see light at the end of the tunnel. And in that, with the quarter point increase, Powell basically said, okay, I think we have inflation kind of under control, mostly under control. So let's see how this plays out.
Of course, we got that.
I think the next thing that we want to look at is just the job market. There's been a lot of jobs that have been lost, specifically in the tech market, in the tech industry. And we'll see what the job market looks like, and what those reports are like.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you got ahead of me. I was going to say we got that really hot job reading today of about 517,000 jobs. And so, I haven't looked at the markets, but I assume that there's a little bit of trepidation around what does that mean? I think unemployment also hit a 53-year low at 3.4%. So we're seeing record low unemployment, even with the tech jobs being a lot of layoffs there. We're seeing a lot of jobs still being created, perhaps in other industries. So the job numbers remain hot. It'll be interesting to see how, if we're still kind of guiding towards a soft landing, which is what I hope and think it's going to happen, or if Powell's going to feel like jobs are too hot, I still have to keep ratcheting things up from the interest rate side.
Well, we could talk about this for a whole hour, but I think that there's an element where, talking about the economics of real estate and how that plays out, and consumer sentiment, builder sentiment, it all is a factor. So we'll see how it all plays out. But that's, none of us know exactly how, the economy is going to, move forward. You just kind of always prepare for the worst, and then, prepare for the worst and plan for the best, plan for the 100%. Worst and then hope for the best.
So, sorry, we kind of jumped ahead and we didn't get a chance to talk about what makes it. You all are JayMarc Homes. Is that correct?
Yep. Yes.
JayMarc Homes. So, obviously, you're at the high end of the market, $3-5 million homes, which I would assume this customer is a little bit less impacted by interest rates, but I might have that wrong. But we'd love to hear more about how you got started in this, and what makes you all different from the other luxury builders out there?
Great question. How we got started was, I'll fast forward about 20 years of career, but we were land developers during the last kind of recession. We developed land all throughout the region and got our ass handed to us, and figured a way for us to pivot. And because land development the banks had so much land that there was no more opportunities to develop land at that point in time. So we started building homes and just started generating revenue for our families. And then JayMarc Homes was established in 2010 in the depth of the recession. And we haven't looked back. And we entered kind of the luxury market within a year or two thereafter, kind of owning a couple sub-markets in the region. And, it's kind of the grassroots of customer centricity, making sure that we are not just taking care of the customer, but the entire 360, making sure that the banks were taking care of our vendors and suppliers, just anyone that we came in contact with. We were always wanted to be best in class. We always wanted to treat people with respect, with kindness, and treat our subcontractors like partners, treat our investors, treat investors' money like it was our own, our bank's money like it was our own. And we've just had that philosophy, from the test of time. We started our first house was $350,000 that we built, and our average price is, over $3 million. And it really boils down to that foundation of just treating everybody the way that you would want to be treated, and doing the right thing.
There's a slight parallel to what we do. I mean, we've actually been live with our previous brand in the Seattle area for a number of years. But as you probably already know, from the regulatory standpoint, we rebranded as Unreal Estate recently last year. And you really have to make sure that long story short, from a regulatory standpoint, that your brand matches your corporation name, et cetera, for all the data. So we actually don't even have our website live in Seattle until we get the approval from the local regulators that they're comfortable with our rebrand. But we'll be live there. But one of the things we found was that what you're talking about is right. It's the 360 experience. So it's not just about, we do flat fee brokerage. So it's not just about saving people money on the brokerage. It's the mortgage, it's the title insurance, it's the whole sort of soup to nuts experience. And that's one of the things that we've been focused on getting right for the last few months. So totally identify what you're talking about.
Yeah, you start with the fundamentals and you get things done right. It allows you to grow and evolve as a company and as an organization. But and it's not growing too big too fast. I think too many people want to grow and become the biggest and the best. We just want to own our little niche and have a great lifestyle and create a place where people want to work, and a place where people want to where they choose us to build their homes for them.
Who is your typical customer? I know that Seattle is known for a lot of really strong tech companies, especially actually in real estate tech. You've got, I think Zillow's out there, Redfin's out there, and many others. Sure. I think Fly Homes was there for a while. So who is your? Is it okay, great. So is there?
I would say that on a typical year, we would have 25% of our business would be someone from Amazon. I would say now what we see is entrepreneurs, we see doctors, we see dentists, we see a lot of people in the tech industry still, but it's all the supporting cast that would support the tech industry.
Okay, interesting. It
was surprising. We did this poll last year in 2020. We did it in 2021. 25% of all of our clients were dentists. I was like, man, dentists are doing really well.
Business. You got to keep your teeth clean. I mean, that's the thing, right? That's funny.
Right. For sure.
So,
for sure.
I'm curious, as sort of an enthusiast in this space more than anything else. I mean, we certainly I think our average home price on our platform typically matches the average home price for whatever location we're in. So of course in
Mm,
New York City, it's much higher than it is, for instance, in Columbus, Ohio.
sure.
But I'm wondering how do you think about the difference between, say, um, the $3 million home versus maybe even a $900,000 home, right? Like a lot of people, your average person is not even thinking about the luxury level, right? So like, but this space. So like, I walk into a $3 million home or even a $5 million home. What are some of the things that are like markedly different about that space
Well,
from your
I'll tell
your
you
average home?
the first thing, Kyle, it's the land.
Mm,
The land is when you step into a $3 million home, the land in and of itself could be a million to 1.2.
okay.
And then we're
Mm-hmm.
spending, let's just say a million to $1.2 million on the construction cost, and then you sell it for $3 million. And so it's the old adage, and if people are, it's about a third of in our market, about a third to 35% is land value, about a third to
Okay.
35% is construction costs, and then a
Mm-hmm.
third to 35, is financing, sales costs, and then whatever it is that you make at the end, as profit. And so so the difference between a 900,000 or $1 million home and a $3 million home starts with the land. And
So, but
then,
I understand that because a certain people are going to want to be in a certain neighborhood, for instance, right? If you're this luxury, oh, I want to be in this whatever hot spot. But like, are there big differences between the height of the ceilings, the finishings, the finishes? Like, are there things that you can point to that say, look, like, yeah, I would do that in $1 million home. I would not do that thing in a $3 million home.
well, as you know, in building a house, every aspect can add a zero to it. Like
Mm,
you can go from lighting, you can spend a couple $1,000s to light a whole house, or you can spend
hmm
20, or you can spend $200,000 to light a house.
Yeah.
And it's all of those little things that that add up.
Hmm.
The ceiling height can go from 9 and 9 to 10 and 9, and then
Mm,
the windows get bigger, and then everything else, just the cabinetry just gets, because if
yeah.
you're adding a foot, the cabinetry gets bigger, thus it adds to the cost.
Hmm.
And the molding gets more, it's just a little bit here and there. It always adds up. Hardwoods throughout the entire main floor and up to the second floor, up into the hallways. Like, I think those all little things that people start to expect when you get to a $3 million home, it adds
Okay.
up. Plumbing fixtures, lighting fixtures, the appliances, having more appliances, and the brand of appliances. And I think that's kind of the fun thing about building a custom home, because we help about 50% of our businesses. We have families that come to us and say, hey, we have this piece of land. Can you build a custom home for us? And 50% of our
Okay.
businesses, we go out and buy land and we build homes for sale for people. And I think what's interesting for families that want to build their custom home is just it's endless of what they can spend their money on. People can
Okay.
spend, their electric, as an example, like as you get into like a 6 or 7 or 8 million dollar home, you have electric blinds and you have electric switches. Well, just to have
Hmm.
that capability, you're writing a $300,000 to $400,000 check just to be able to have
Mm,
everything in your house have electric blinds to be able to cut through, and you just be able to hit a button and like all the blinds go up. And so
sure.
those are like,
Sure.
it's like little things that can add up to big things in every aspect of the home.
And is there a
More
specific
speakers.
architectural? Oh, sorry, not to cut you off.
No,
Is
go
there
ahead. I
is
mean,
there
but just like Windows, it's like the window budget we have one client that has a $350,000 window budget. I mean,
insane?
it's versus we would try to, on a for sale side of the business, we would have like a $30,000 to $40,000 window budget.
Okay.
And so it's kind of like everyone has their hot button of where they want to spend their money. And that's the beautiful part about building a custom home, is that you have that ability to do that.
Is there a specific architectural style that you all do, or because it's custom, it can vary?
It ranges. I mean, and it ranges with the flow of what's happening. Craftsman was for a long time, and then it was and then it was farmhouse, and then it was contemporary, and then it's farmhouse, and then it's craftsman. And so it's kind of like, different kinds of farmhouses. There's the Scandinavian farmhouse, and there's this kind of farmhouse. And so
Sure.
it's morphing the design to kind of the ebb and flow of where the customer, what the customer is seeing and feeling.
Got it. That's helpful. Okay, so I want to pivot over to what else you're seeing. We saw this quick uptick in the market, in the sentiment. What else are you seeing right now as a trend as a builder? Or maybe if you give me your top three, we could end on that.
The top things that people are putting in their houses as like,
No. Sorry. Let me do a better job asking. So thinking about just overall trends as a home builder, and that could be that you're seeing more foot traffic. It could be that people in the luxury market are asking, like you said, these $300,000 in windows. It could be, but I'm just curious, what kind of trends are you seeing on the ground that other people that are, other builders are probably talking about, or if you're a person that wants to build a custom home that you should be thinking about?
Okay. So so I will say that the trends is kind of what I talked about before, was that, there's a lot of foot traffic out there now that the interest rates are coming back. I think that you're starting to see more people out there. You're starting to see more multiple offers. And I think that's, especially in my market, you're starting to just see inventory just, become reduced. And so many builders stopped starts because we were uncertain for 8 months, and so
Okay.
you're going to see a shortage. I mean, in my market, I think you're going to see a shortage of houses, coming up, in a year from now, or 8 months from now. I think that you're going to see prices coming back up because there's not as many houses available for sale. So those are some of the things that I'm seeing. There was a lot more negotiating, in the last 8 months. I think now you're going to start to see less negotiation. This is what the price is. I think you're going to start to see some price increases. We increased the house for the first time this last week, whereas we were decreasing houses before. So I think that's kind of the element of the real-time data of what we're seeing in the market. Like the deals were once had if you were willing to put your neck out, November and December. I think the deals are becoming less and less, at least in my market. We reduced prices about 20% from the high to where they are now.
And have you seen these rate buy down deals and things, incentives like that?
Mm-hmm.
Have you all done anything like that?
Yep, we did we bought 6 rate buy downs that people could get like 4.375 or 4.5% interest. And so we would spend, I don't know, it was like $60,000 so that people could buy those rates.
Wow.
And
incredible.
Even, we were, and we had a handful of people that took us up on it. Like it wasn't all 6. It was surprising. Like, here it is. Here's the rate. Here's the rate. Here's the rate. And it wasn't enough to get people to, it needed the sentiment needed to change. The inventory needed to change. And then once, it's kind of like a domino effect. Once people start seeing a house sold, 2 houses sold, like, okay, honey, I think we got to go back out. Houses are starting to move again. Yes. Okay. It's kind of like the stock market, like where you saw the bottom, you could see the bottom in a market, and you can be like, okay, it's kind of time to buy. I think the bottom was, I hope the bottom was 45 days ago.
That's what I keep hearing a lot of people say. They feel like that the bottom from both a volume and maybe even a pricing standpoint happened in Q4. And now they keep seeing things sort of just like this builder sentiment we just saw, right? We keep seeing things sort of edge up, as long as the overall market sort of holds together.
For sure.
Okay, so I wanted to wrap up on this. It sounds like, just to do a quick recap, you've actually experienced personally seeing foot traffic continue to go up, and actually people are now closing. In the past, where you may have had to add incentives or negotiate more, you're starting to see a decrease in that because inventory is so low, and you think maybe even home prices are going to increase from here based on what you're experiencing.
I believe so. Yes.
That's great. And so, what we typically do at this point, this is my favorite part of the show, but this is going to catch you off guard, I think. We do a fit check or a sneaker check. As a company, we collect sneakers, all of our team. So I'm going to go first and give you some time. I went today with the Common Projects. I can't remember if I've done these in this show before or not, but I love this shoe because it matches almost everything. Thank you. It's super low key. They're very comfortable. And I wear these all the time.
I love it.
So what you got?
You want me to show you my sneakers right now?
Yeah. Sneaker check, man. Fit check.
These are Uggs.
There you go.
Wear them around the house.
Right. There you go. You're the second Ugg wear we've had on the show. And everybody talks about the comfort and the warmth in the winter.
I'm in Seattle, got to be comfortable, man.
I've got a couple pairs of those. I'm an Ugg fan. I just didn't wear them today.
I would have tried to represent if I knew I needed to bring some sneakers.
Sorry to surprise you.
Yeah, it's all good. That's a lot of fun.
All right, man. Thank you so much for being on the show. I know we have a tight schedule today. So please let everybody know where they can find you. JayMarcHomes.com, JayMarc Homes.com, and luxury builder, custom home builder in the Seattle East Side. Thank you so much, everybody. Anyone who's looking to move to a luxury home in Seattle, Marc's your guy. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being on today, Marc. We'll talk to you soon.